That's what's up, it's Kumarai Fang here, and welcome to Part 2. This is a joint project between me and SickoBOT1, so if you haven't, please check out Part 1 on her channel. We're about to finish the best hit songs of 2004, and it's about to get even more awesome than before.
As long as your wolves don't hurt me, that is. I mean, they haven't yet, but anyway. We got 5 songs to go, and we've got some good stuff to talk about today. You ready, Fang?
You betcha! Let's go! Number 5! If I were to name the biggest name in music in 2004, it wouldn't go to any artist, but to a producer. And that producer was Lil Jon. Lil Jon was the face of the crunk boom. He wasn't on every crunk song in 2004, but he might as well have been. The man was inescapable back in the day, for better and for worse.
Yeah, listening to the music of 2004 has made me realize that I like the idea of Lil Jon more than I like him in practice. He's a rowdy, belligerent hype man with an unmistakable presence, and who definitely had the clout to be absolutely huge in the mid-2000s. We did rag on a bunch of songs that he had his hands on in the last countdown, but oddly enough, I don't think I really lost that much respect for him through it all. And I can say that after this weird Christmas song he did with the Kool-Aid Man that my brother got obsessed with to the point of annoying his girlfriend.
But I think that Fang and I can both agree that when it comes to Lil Jon, this is where he peaked.
Peace up, A-Town.
Oh yeah, no question about that one. This is one of those songs I feel comfortable saying the lyrical content doesn't matter here. It's a song where Usher decides to cheat on his partner because of a girl he met at the club. And you know what? I only remember that maybe 10% of the time I listen to this song. The percussion is steady without being too loud or abrasive, the synths are lively and bright, yes, even the whistle synth that's in there every now and again, not to mention the bells that come in every few bars. This song sounds like a party where you're meant to hook up with someone. Whether or not you have a partner doesn't really matter because you're having way too much fun. And from our 3 artists, that's the exact vibe I get.
I know this is on an album where Usher owns up to infidelity, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't think the thought that Usher is cheating on this song has ever crossed my mind.
It's kinda weird to me that the Raucous Party Jam was the first full-length track on Usher's Confessions, and that it shares time with the emotionally complex Confessions Part 2 and Burn. It's even more weird that, even though I do respect and enjoy those songs fine enough, it's the club jam that I like the most. Mostly because this beat absolutely kills. The crunk and B elements that would typically annoy me feel more refined and smooth, and that 4-note synth melody is really catchy. It's definitely a better fit for Usher than the more sinister Freak a Leak beat would have been.
Yeah, I still can't imagine this song with this beat. Nor am I interested in hearing what that would sound like. Freak a Leak was tense, boring, repetitive, and creepy. It wouldn't have fit Usher's singing, Lil Jon's hype man presence, and it definitely wouldn't have suited Ludacris. The man brought his A game to this song, and man, I love it!
Watch out, my outfit's ridiculous. In the club looking so conspicuous.
Luda has his own verse in the outro, and he kills it! Usher and Lil Jon already made this song great, but he's like an extra cherry on top. He's always been a great MC, that is, so long as you gave him something to work with, and he displays an air of dominance and sexual prowess, but still comes off as an enjoyable presence. The way he delivers some of his bars would be kinda silly on most other tracks, but here, they make for some of my favorite moments on the song. And speaking of fun, for as good as Usher is on more emotional tracks, I think this is my favorite song of his. He's made some great R&B, he's made some awful R&B, he's made some in the middle. But I can't think of a song of his that went down the club banger route. At least not one that was this good anyways.
Yeah, but we don't speak of OMG anymore. It doesn't exist. Only DJ Got Us Falling in Love and this.
Right, I'll make note of that.
Let's just hope that you didn't piss off any Minecraft fans by forgetting that one.
How the hell am I supposed to leave? And I say,
This was the biggest song of 2004, and it earned that title without question. It's a generation-defining smash that showcases each of its performers at their very best. Usher's smooth, dreamy vocals, Lil Jon's ear for beats and wild behavior, and Ludacris is cool. It may be crunk at its heart, but I can confidently call it timeless. I don't go to clubs, but I hope they still play this one regularly.
As someone who has gone to clubs, rest assured, this is one of the first songs that they'll play, Diane. I've yet to see anyone sit down while this song is playing. That's just how good it is.
Number 4.
So Fang, you want to explain why this song is on the list even though you said you hated it before?
I don't know. Looking back, I'm not even sure why I said I hated it. I like it now, though, and I'd like to redact that old opinion. So, let me get the record straight. Yeah, Alpha screwed the pooch on this one.
From the definitive club song to the definitive angst song.
It continues to be insane to me just how many huge Hot 100 hits Linkin Park had, because that format's not exactly kind to metal, but through sheer appeal to the frustrated millennials of the time, they managed to get their voice out there time and time again, and arguably, this is where it hit the zeitgeist the hardest. Along with In the End, this is probably the band's most well-known song, and it's for good reason.
Agreed. From the music to the vocals to the lyrics, Numb is the epitome of frustration, and it displays it in a way that allows it to shine through without it being abrasive to the listener. The narrator in this song has had enough. Up until this point, he's been dealing with a controlling figure in his life in silence, and it's gotten to the point where he doesn't feel like himself anymore.
Every step that I take is another mistake to you.
This is a song about high expectations and not feeling like you're able to live up to them, whether they're your own expectations or those set up for you by someone else. Something I think a lot of kids can relate to in some ways, whether it's being raised to think you're smart and special only to have reality hit you and show you just how many others like you there really are, or being forced into extracurricular activities that you don't enjoy because of a parent's interest. There's a million ways to feel like a failure, and listening to this song hits close to damn near all of them.
It's not just a kid issue either. There's a lot of pressure out there about adult life too. Getting into a good college, choosing a degree that'll get you a good job so you can live a good, stable life. These are things that also fall into this song because the reality is that you may not even want it, but feel like you have to. And when you feel like you don't get a choice in that and begin to struggle with it, it can easily make you feel worthless. This is where enough's enough. The narrator wants to go his own way and take back his life. The bridge in this song having the most emotional impact in the writing. At least to me. There's a reality that, yes, the narrator may not get what he wants. He may fail, but it's better to try and escape it than to let the same thing happen to him that happened to the person standing over his shoulder. And in a way, it makes the song kinda comforting, which says a lot considering its tone.
I think that might be because this is more melodic and less aggressive than your typical Linkin Park songs at the time.
In their first two albums, the formula for Linkin Park was Mike Shinoda raps two verses, Chester Bennington does the chorus and a bridge. But here, it's all Chester, with only some sparse backing vocals from Mike. It allows the verses to be a little quieter and make the impact of the distorted guitars on the chorus that much bigger. In a similar way to Crawling, but without blowing the impact 2 measures early and, in general, being easier to take seriously. And by the time you get to the bridge, Chester's register is at its highest and most triumphant, almost serving as a climax to the song as short as it is.
Linkin Park's typical sound around this time was all doom and gloom, but here, there's a bit of a silver lining, even if it's difficult to explain how.
That makes sense, but I think it's only half the equation. There's still the instrumentation which mirrors Chester Bennington's vocals, if that makes any sense. The song starts off with these eerie synths and a drum machine. The main riffs of the guitars and the actual drums coming in introduce the frustrated tone of the song, but then they all stop for the first verse. We got a piano, the drums lightly being played in the back, and those synths shining through once or twice. They pick up a little for the pre-chorus, the guitars start to show back up, and then the chorus plays. And similar to my happy ending, the song doesn't go back to ground zero once the second verse shows up. The frustration keeps rising throughout the song until we head back to the chorus. And the bridge and the final chorus are a great climax of the song because everything is finally out in the open, and it is so damn rewarding. Again, I have no idea what made me hate this 4 years ago. As brief as it was, I forgot why I went to listen to this song when I was a kid, and more as I got older. But the fact I did to begin with is a crime to me now. I'm not too sure if I'd call this Linkin Park's best hit just yet. I'll have to see as I continue talking about them in future videos. But regardless, Numb deserves to be recognized as the beautiful metal song that it was, and I hope it continues to reach people for many more years to come.
Fang messing up aside, this does more for me now than it did when I was a teenager. And while I wouldn't call it my favorite Linkin Park song either, its longevity can't be denied, and its legacy is truly awe-inspiring.
Rest in peace, Chester.
Buildings with 100 floors, swinging on revolving doors. Maybe I don't
Number 3!
Okay, we've mentioned Usher, we've mentioned Avril, Linkin Park, Lil Jon, all those acts. But I can't help but feel that we're still forgetting someone. Some act that was huge in 2004. You think you might have any ideas, Fang?
Oh yeah, there's one that comes to mind. 1, 2, 3, ah!
No, it wasn't 1, 2, 3, it was, Fang, I can't concentrate with this Outcast song play. Oh.
Yeah, people have only been yelling this in the live chat since the video started. Looking at this year-end, more songs from my childhood made it than songs that didn't. And as it turns out, several of those songs are staple classics that stand the test of time and are expected to make every best list for this year. There's Yeah, there's Numb, My Happy Ending, and of course, there's Hey Ya. And revisiting the song, it fucking deserves it. It is so much fun, which is interesting because, like with Yeah, the lyrics of the song really don't matter. It's about a guy going through a pissy breakup, and it is the happiest, brightest, and bounciest pieces of music I've ever heard. I don't know how that happened, and I honestly don't care. It's so good.
You think you got it. Oh, you think you got it.
This is one of those songs that feels like it's always been around for me. A track that almost defies genre and just does its own thing. Hearing it in bits and pieces, you still get enjoyment out of the way everything sounds, fluttery keys, in-your-face bass, Andre 3000's slightly off-kilter voice, but when you listen to it from front to back, you get to appreciate the little moments that show up once and never again. Like the moments the music cuts out and Andre's voice gets all warbly when he realizes he's not exactly happy. There's the part where he tells girls to shake their ass like a Polaroid picture, and it's kinda humorous.
And my favorite bit, this dad joke that sounds way cooler than it has any right to. Pun intended.
Now what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
I prefer the alright bit immediately after that, but whatever. This entire song is just delightful and fun. I love every second of it. I'm not entirely sure if it takes itself seriously or not, and I think that helps it a lot. Andre 3000 is clearly enjoying himself in this song, as evident by some of the ways he delivers his lyrics. And between him and the music, it is infectious. I've only ever met people who love this song. I don't know about y'all, but that just does not happen. This song is the grand exception, and oh boy does it deserve to be.
Yeah, I feel like I could play this for my rap-hating parents and they would not mind this at all.
In fact, this song is so ubiquitous and beloved that I'm not really sure what to say about it. It's catchy, sounds amazing, and sneaks in some lyrics about nasty relationship issues without feeling like it clashes all that much. And of the 3 hits Outkast had in 2004, it's easily my favorite. Even if The Way You Move has that slick as hell production and Roses... Okay, I know Fang likes this one, but it's kinda sour to me. Pretty mean-spirited without the charm of Hey Ya to really distract from it.
There's no song out there with the charm of Hey Ya, Diane. Roses was definitely a more direct jab at a girl, and though I enjoyed it for the nice production and some of Andre's humor, it doesn't compare to The Way You Move, and neither of them compare to Hey Ya. It's the most beloved project from Speakerboxxx The Love Below for damn good reason. And yet, for such a beloved and catchy song, Diane and I still managed to find songs that we loved more than it. I'd call that crazy, except this is 2004 we're talking about here.
It sure is. I don't know if this would be my number 1 in a worse year, but it would certainly be up pretty high in some.
Number 2.
When I was 10, I spent 3 weeks of summer vacation at my cousin's house. It wasn't fun. But one of the things I enjoyed about it was this TV station I watched in the afternoon. It played music videos for popular songs at the time, and me and my cousin would dance in the living room while it was on. I don't remember which station it was, nor do I remember all the songs that played on it, but 2 of them stuck with me. And where one of these was, unfortunately, 1-2 Step by Sierra featuring Missy Elliott, the second one is the song that I chose as my song of the year. which surprised me.
Honestly, it surprised me too, considering the acts that made it.
Oh, I know. This is another one of those acts that would tarnish their good reputation very soon after this year. And even if they didn't, I expected at least half of these songs to surpass it on my own personal ranking. But hey, what can I say except sometimes nostalgia just wins out.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
Even listening to some of the other Black Eyed Peas songs at the time, there's not a lot that I personally enjoy. Hey Mama was actually a dishonorable mention on my own personal list, whereas The Love is a bit overly preachy and was made even worse over a decade later. But Let's Get It Started, not the version with the ableist slur in the title at least, is the song it kind of feels like they were always meant to make. Well, along with I Got a Feeling, I guess, but I like this one better.
In part because this has some of the strongest writing of any Peas single, even despite the fact that it's about getting stupid and having a good time. But also, for once, all of the members of the band feel important.
I know, it's great. This song has the Peas at their best. It's surreal. I adore it, and considering what they made after this song, and especially what they're making now, it's kinda hard to believe that they had a sense of integrity once.
In this context, there's no disrespect, so when I bust my rhyme, you break your necks.
I Got a Feeling is a good song, but like Diane, I much prefer this one. Partially because of nostalgia, but also because this song stands up to Overplay better. The guitars, bass, and drums are all punchy, but not in an in-your-face sort of way. No, that's for the Peas to do, and man do I love them. It is very telling how well this song stuck with me. Before preparing for this video, I hadn't heard it in almost 13 years. Imagine my surprise when I started rapping the bars alongside the Peas. There was so much effort put into the lyrics for what is a very simple song subject, but they make it sound so much bigger than that simple thing.
Follow your intuition, free your inner soul and break away from tradition.
will.i.am in particular really impresses here, using 3- and 4-syllable rhyme schemes despite the subject matter. There's not really any punchlines in his verse, but it still feels good to listen to. Taboo and Apple App also turn out decent verses that are descriptive, enough to get by. They flow so well with this beat that it hardly even matters what they're saying. And Fergie as a hype woman is especially effective. She may not get her own verse, but with that intro and ad-libs, I don't think she sounded better.
Let's get it started in here.
I agree completely. I've heard Fergie on a few songs over the years, both with the Peas and in her own solo work, and I don't think I have or will ever enjoy her more than I do on this song. Granted, most songs I've heard her on suck, but even with what few songs I like with her on it, they don't hold a candle to how she sounds here. Usually I wouldn't put a Party Jam so high up on my best list, but when I listened to this for the first time in years, I knew I couldn't pick another one. It is the song on the year end that I want to listen to the most. It instantly puts me in a good mood, and I am all the happier every time it plays.
And while it's not my number one, this still kicks ass. Anytime the Peas want to ditch Latin knockoffs and go back to this would be a good time in my book.
Same. I am not looking forward to talking about those. And before the number one, some quick honorable mentions.
And a few disagreements.
This song gets so much hate, and I'm not gonna lie, I really don't get why. The only complaint I've heard from people is how this song was such an accessible commercial jingle for the iPod. And honestly, that's never been much of a critique to me. It feels like that's just an excuse that people use to call this a bad song without really critiquing it. And as a song from my childhood, I've always enjoyed the guitar riffs as well as the lead singer's vocals. It's a fun little listen, and I don't see that changing for me.
When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot.
I like 90s G-Funk, Dr. Dre Snoop, but this darker Pharrell cut also hits the spot for me. Both men are smooth and I love the production. It may be a lot of flexing, but these two have the swagger and charisma to back it up and make a standout track for both of their careers.
And she will be loved, and she will.
Another good song from Songs About Jane, and it doesn't come close to being one of the best ones. It's a heartwarming listen where Levine says he'll be there for the girl in the song, and it's endearing to hear.
You don't know my name, I swear.
Alicia Keys is a bit of a blind spot for me. I was never really impressed with any of the songs I heard from her. I never really found her stuff that memorable, and yet this 6-minute ballad won me over instantly.
It feels so romantic and high concept, even though its lyrics are mostly about a small moment. The piano playing is impressive, and Alicia sounds gorgeous, though those were givens for her at the time. But just the grand scope of it all keeps it dear to my heart all the same, even if it is a tad long.
Looking back at my childhood, I can't help but find some humorous irony in it, specifically when it comes to Britney Spears. I remember that my family and I all agreed that Britney Spears was an awful singer, and yet there were still a few songs of hers that we enjoyed in my house. It's kind of funny now that I think about it.
There will be no white flag above my door.
I heard this song multiple times on the radio as a kid, and I only just recently realized I love it. It's ethereal bliss where Dido almost sounds detached from everything, but it works to create a uniquely love-struck mood. Thank You may have become the chorus to Stan, but to me, White Flag is better.
Like a broken record saying things like, this song for my childhood ... but I think that just adds to how much my nostalgia played into some of my picks for this. Something I can doubly say for 100 years, a song about life and how it can quickly pass you by. And now that I'm 25, I feel the weight of this song. Weirdly enough though, I feel it in a way that's more comforting, which I think is what Five for Fighting was going for. It's not easy to get me into piano ballads, but this one did a good job.
Old Kanye feels like a completely different artist from the Kanye we have today. He doesn't feel like a different person, though.
Got a light-skinned friend, look like Michael Jackson.
I don't typically go for these kinds of slower, more seductive club tracks, but this one sounds wonderful enough to overcome my own personal tastes and also Kanye's baggage. Plus, I love how Kanye sets up Twista's verse.
Do it faster, baby, do it faster.
Damn, baby, I can't do it that fast, but I know somebody who can. I got you looking at the glitz on my hands and wrist.
Now that's cute.
And considering that this was Kanye's mainstream debut year, he was bound to get our attention once or twice.
God, show me the way because the devil's trying to break me down.
Speaking of Kanye getting our attention, oh boy do I feel out of my depth trying to talk about this one. Aside from talking about Kanye's struggle, it's also heavily biblically themed. And even if I weren't pagan now, I would still be hesitant about approaching this song. But I can't deny it. This is a fantastic piece of rap music. The music is tense without it being unnerving, and it gives Kanye a solid foundation to make this type of song on. And his bars are pretty great here. It definitely deserves its name.
Endlessly nostalgic for me, and a delight to have some genuine blues rock climb up the charts in the mid-2000s. I don't know if Los Lonely Boys have the same level of talent as Stevie Ray Vaughan or Carlos Santana, but their one hit can play with the best of them. Okay, well maybe not smooth.
Definitely not smooth, but let's say we finish this, shall we?
Yep. Let's go.
And now, number 1.
So, number 1 on the best list, as well as my own personal number 1. Like Fang, I was surprised that this song topped my list. Not because I hadn't heard it in years, but because I had never really considered it one of the best from this artist. And yet, going through all the songs that this year had to offer, I felt like I couldn't give it to anything else.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. Diane's personal number 1 topped this list because, if not for the Black Eyed Peas, it would have topped my personal list as well. And, like Diane, I didn't expect this song to win me over the way it did. But, that being said, I think it's only fitting that the song that topped our combined best list is from an act that both Diane and I listened to as children, and one that we both still enjoy today.
This is gonna hurt, but in the best way possible.
Numb may be the Linkin Park hit from this year everyone remembers the best, but even with a song with that much emotional baggage, Breaking the Habit surprised me by bringing on the heartbreak even harder. It's a generally quieter song, more techno than metal, and the demons it faces are more internal than external. Addiction is not an easy thing to write about or to cope with, but Chester Bennington's portrayal of addiction and the damage it causes and the struggles that come with trying to overcome it damn near bring me to tears. It's so powerful.
I know I've talked about a few Linkin Park songs that rock me to my core these past few years, so this really shouldn't come as a shock to me, and yet it still does.
That's not surprising. This song is a bit of a heavy listen, which may explain why I picked the P's over it.
I don't know what's worth fighting for, or why I have to scream.
Interestingly enough, this song wasn't written about Chester Bennington's drug addiction and struggles with it. Mike Shinoda wrote this about a close friend who was struggling with the same thing. But even with that knowledge, I feel safe in saying that Chester felt a connection with the song's lyrics. I can hear him pouring his heart out in this song, and it hits hard. There are a lot of emotions on display here. Frustration, confusion, regret, depression, but also a desire to be better without really knowing how. It doesn't sugarcoat the situation, as well it shouldn't.
Memories come soon, like opening the wounds.
Though the guitars aren't distorted like in your typical Linkin Park song at the time, this feels no less full. The plucky guitar riffs and Mr. Han's record scratches feel more vibrant and clear to let the lyrics shine with as much grace as possible, and it matches both the soft singing of the verses and the belting of the chorus and bridge. Even on its own, this was just a beautiful piece of music that was sinister in a way Linkin Park didn't really do at the time.
This came from Meteora, and yet it wouldn't feel out of place on Minutes to Midnight. And yes, that is a compliment.
So I'm breaking the habit.
And Chester sings the chorus like he's on the verge of tears, and understandably so. Allegedly, he even had trouble performing it live because he'd feel like breaking down, and yet his voice is still as potent as ever. Like you'd expect, he sounds good even when hitting the high notes, and the bridge in particular is so intense, it can be hard to listen to if I'm already swept up in the emotion.
There are plenty of other songs from this band that can do that for me, but the intensity rarely gets as close as it gets here.
I don't want to be the one the battles always choose.
I listened to more than a bit of Linkin Park growing up, but all the songs I remember don't come close to the emotional impact this song has. The atmosphere of Breaking the Habit is heartbreaking to me, and that shines through in every part of the song. It's beautiful and haunting at the same time, and that's not a combination that's easily pulled off. I'd have to review Linkin Park's back catalog to be sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't make a song close to this lane since its release. And with Chester sadly no longer with us, I doubt they will in the years to come.
Personally, I don't think they should continue to release new music under the name Linkin Park, but that's a discussion for another day.
I know what you mean. It's just not Linkin Park without Chester Bennington.
But now I have some clarity to show you what I mean.
I don't know if I would definitively call this my favorite Linkin Park song of all time, but it's up there. This band was something special to me, in a way I didn't even realize until its frontman had left us. I can't believe it's already been 3 years. It still hurts. He left one hell of a legacy behind, and I never want to forget it.
You won't, Diane. Neither of us will. Songs like this and Shadow of the Day may make us feel down, but they're just a couple of great songs that he left behind. Songs written by a group whose frontman was going through his own struggles, and one that reached the hearts of others through putting them out there for the world to see. It was a brave thing to do, and him and his band will be remembered and cherished for it. And that concludes the best hit songs of 2004. But before we go, I would like to give a quick shout out to my pups on Patreon, where for $5 per video, you'll get your name in the credits here, and for $10 per video, you'll get a personal shout out alongside moment reviews, name withheld, and nuclear winter. Thank you, pups, so much for your support.
And for $20, I'll kick one of you down the stairs. That's a guarantee.
Also, shameless plug, if you liked me throughout any of this, then I'd appreciate it if you subscribed to me, just in time for the year-end list for 2020. Also, thank you, Fang, for letting me do this with you.
Anytime, Diane, and thank you for doing this also. For the pups watching, I'll leave a card to Diane's last best list. I highly recommend it.
I appreciate it. I'm sick of BOT1. I am ready for it to be winter already. And take care.
I'm Kumarai Fang, back to way back, and episode 1 of the Pup Tunes is coming up next, but until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a howling good time.
I never said that this would be easy. Stick together and listen to reason. I never said that this would be easy.
Yeah, and keep an eye on my face, and please make sure I don't look stupid.
Oh, you always look stupid. I'll just make you look less stupid.
I oughta smack you!
Fight me! I'm challenging your subscribers!
They're not gonna fight you, they're gonna subscribe to you when I tell them about your channel.
Right.
Oops!
Ooh. What could get me?
Hey Pups, what's up? It's Kumarai Fang here. This is a joint project. Did I forget my line again?
Hey, first up, it's me, Did I forget my line? Gina, come on. 3,000 subscribers.
3,100, fight me!
I will. You're terrible. We got like 5 seconds in and you already flubbed the line.
I'm pretty sure it's like a few minutes in. As far as the recording goes.
Oh yeah, as far as this recording goes, but for them it's like 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, what's up, gamers? Be sure to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, go to www.patreon.com/KumaraIFang, join the tiers, you know the rest.
Remind me to just stick that in for the Patreon segment. Diane, please edit that into the actual part. Like, don't make it a blooper. My brother coming in here in his underwear.
I heard you doing the Patreon things as I was walking by to the bathroom, and I was like... Perfect.
Oh my god, she's gonna have a field day trying to pick bloopers. Oh, maybe she might pick all of them. Who knows?
Yeah. You're so bad at reading lines. Just get a teleprompter.
I don't have the money for that. Shut up.
I know. Use the TV as a teleprompter.
I'd have to keep turning my head.
No, just like... If I grab one of the extra tray tables, you just like sit it right there.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Coming soon, a new $200 Patreon goal where if you guys help her reach $200, I'll dump ice water down her shirt.